Just let me know the interest. You won't find no better than this. You swear, girl, if you leave, just let me know so I won't look down you. If you leave, just let me know the interest. You won't find no better than this. You swear, girl, if you leave, just let me know so I won't look down you. If you leave, just let me know the interest. You won't find no better than this. You swear, girl, if you leave, just let me know so I won't.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Dark Souls 3 PvP Invasions. Once more, it has been a little while, hasn't it? I hope you're all doing alright, as I'm sure you're all aware by now. The world is going through some troublesome times, and what better to face a global medical pandemic than with a big healthy dose of nihilism. And what better way to encompass that in Dark Souls 3 Invasions, where death has no meaning and nothing really matters. So, yeah, I hope you're all doing alright. How have you been facing this pandemic? What have you been doing with your free time? Unfortunately for me, I've had to go to work, so life kind of goes on as normal for me, so I haven't had time to pursue interests and develop skills and all that, so that's quite unfortunate. But I found some time for some Dark Souls 3, which I haven't played in a little while. I've been playing a few other games, notably Civ 6. Really fun game. But I had a hankering. I think I still keep up occasionally with the YouTube Dark Souls community to see what's going on. And I don't know, I think I just watched a couple of videos that really inspired me, and I wanted to make another build. Always the way, isn't it? You think you're done, and then something or someone will pique your interest. I think it was a Chase the Bro video I saw, and he was doing a one-shot sorcery build, and I was like, you know what? I've not tried a pure sorcery build before, so fuck it. Let's give that a go. And, well, blow me down if it isn't incredibly fun. Like, this is a hell of a lot of fun. You know, having OP melee builds is all well and good, but you know, in all those gang situations and you've just been one-shot by Crystal Soul Spear by some shithead summon, and you're like, I really wish I could show them how annoying it is. I really wish I could show them how frustrating it is to fight that kind of bullshit when you're trying to deal with all the other enemies. So, here it is. This is soul level 80, plus 10 everything, and 60 ints, all the bits and pieces you need for a sorcery build. I didn't go with the magic clutch ring because that's kind of pointless, but it's got both the dragon rings, the cleric's candlestick, and the stupid rabbit ears. And yeah, fuck me if this isn't incredibly fun. I understand well, I mean, because I did a video there, I think it was last year now, blimey, time really flies, where I did a pyro and a sorcery build at soul level 90, and I thought that was the only way to make that kind of sorcery build work, was to be sort of a hybrid melee and spellcaster. But this one is pretty much full spellcasting. I have a short sword, and that's it. Just in case I run out of FP. But generally, I've either died or killed my opponents before I've actually run out of FP. So it's very rare that I actually pull it out. So the spells I've gone with Crystal Soul Spear and Crystal Homing Soul Mass, obviously. So there's your big damage, one-shot capability, which is just so much fucking fun. If you want to watch 30 more minutes of me just one-shotting fools, then you stick right here. And then I got Soul Arrow, which I've now upgraded to Great Soul Arrow for just peppering people from afar, which is fun. And then Farron Flash Sword, which I did shit on in my last video. I said it was pretty bad, and unless you're rocking all the sorcery stuff, all the sorcery accessories to boost your damage, it is shit. But with them all together, you actually get really decent damage out of it. I haven't got the Sage's Ring +2 on. I still haven't got enough Mars to go and get that into New Game +2, which I might end up doing. So it swings about the same rate as a Greatsword, which is unfortunate because it's supposed to be like a straight sword sort of spell. But it's really good because no one sees it coming, because you think you're just going to cast Crystal Soul Spear or Homing Crystal Soul Mass all the time. So if they run up to you trying to pressure you, you can whip out Pharaoh Flash Sword and bat them away. And then obviously you got the short sword in your pocket in case you need something a little bit quicker. You can see that, decent fucking damage, nearly 300 damage a swing. That's really good even for a straight sword. So I was also worried when doing the build that obviously my HP was going to be a problem, because as you can see it's a fairly stubby little bar, and that's always been the problem with these caster builds, is that you need FP and you need your damage stat line, in this case intelligence, and I've invested 1 point in strength so I can use the short sword, and I think about 5 points into endurance so I can have a little bit of the stamina, but everything else has just been dumped into intelligence. So it's not been that bad actually, as long as you don't get hit. That's what I've found. You can survive about one combo, so as long as you can get through that and not get hit anymore, you're golden. I mean, that's what they always say. It's like, why do you need a shield? Why do you need high HP when you can just not get hit? Surely it's the most logical explanation. Now I also wanted to talk a little bit about the use of the Black Crystal, because it's an item that I found that I've been using an awful lot more of, sort of the more I go back into Dark Souls 3 invasions. I mean, I generally take quite long breaks between sessions now, whereas in the past I would just hit it consistently every day for months and months and months, and what I found was the more I played consistently, the quicker I would get burnt out on it, and the more frustrated and angry I'd get at, with the invasion mechanics and the players that play the game and all the bullshit that goes along with it, like terrible connections with people and shitty gankers and shitty passive players, etc., etc. And I've sort of incorporated using the Black Crystal a lot more now, I've got to admit. I'd say about 10% of the invasions I will just leave. I'd like no interest in playing their game. So what gives the shitty players their power is their ability to let it affect you, and the fact that you're playing their game rather than you're all playing together. I mean, I know the invasions, this mechanic is one player versus another, but it's a collaborative effort in keeping the game alive. But when the player goes so far away to grief the other person, it becomes you're playing their game rather than you're playing together. And with those kinds of players, the real shitty ones, I don't really have to explain which ones I mean. The ones that use all the infinite Estus glitching and the fat ring glitching and all the bullshit weapon swapping, tumble buffing stuff. Using mechanics within what the game was intended is fine, but when you go as far as to break the game like that, it just becomes pointless playing it at that point. So with those players, I just do all Black Crystal out. I'll see them doing it. I'm like, all right, you win. You've won this. You've won this game. You carry on doing what you're doing. I'm not going to take any part of it. And it comes to real passive players as well, people who are intent on camping the bonfire with their team and not doing anything, despite the fact that they have an overwhelming advantage, and it just becomes tedious and boring, because again, you're playing their game, they want you to come to them so they can waffle stomp you. So I'm not going to play it, honestly. Well done, you won, you beat me, I've Black Crystal out of your world. And again, going back to Wex Dust, you can just hit the Wex Dust back at Filing Shrine and you go instantly back into another invasion. You don't even have to think about it or worry about it. And this has gone so far away in keeping me engaged in the game for longer and longer sessions. So just knowing that I don't have to sit and take a bullshit beating, or have to chase some fat ring glitch around the map with a spear, trying to poke him out. I don't have time for it, and I don't have the patience for it anymore. And then that pushes you and drives you to sort of trying hard yourself, and I'm not about that life anymore. I don't think I've ever been too try hard. It's just not who I am as a person or as a player. Not that there's anything wrong with wanting your skills and your build to be the best they can. That's not what I'm saying. I just don't have the patience to get any better at this game. I'm quite happy at the skill level I'm at. Yeah, Black Crystal, Invader's best friend. So yeah, I think everyone should give these kinds of pure caster builds a go at least once in their Dark Souls 3 career, because it's a real eye-opener as to how these builds operate and how players tend to use them both correctly and incorrectly in co-op and PvP scenarios, because you see so many players using a pure caster build, and all they're doing is running the homing soulmass crystal soul spear combo and trying to get the big damage in to one-shot you. And although that is kind of the centerpiece of the build, you shouldn't be using it as the only thing that the build is capable of, because I would say about 70 to 80% of the time people know enough about spells in this game to just side strafe, block, or simply roll out of the way. You're not going to get everyone with that combo, and it'll be a fool's errand to think that that's the only way you can win, or you should be winning with this build. The way you should really be winning is mixing your spells up. I have 4 spell slots in this build at the moment because I wanted to invest a little bit more in HP, just so I could have at least a small sliver of survivability. But if you had a few more levels to play with, I would dump a little bit more and get maybe 5 attunement slots, or you could use one of the rings to get an additional attunement slot. And I would include Soul Greatsword as well as Farron Flash Sword, because that way you've got some good ranged and then some decent melee capabilities as well. And if you wanted to sacrifice a little bit of damage, you could swap the Cleric's Candlestick in your offhand to Sentry Belvine in your offhand, so you can get the good cast speed, so you can have fast casting melee and ranged spells as well. And I might give that a go, actually. That's not a bad shout. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm thinking, yeah, maybe I could. But again, you're sacrificing the damage, which means your one-shot combo of Soulmass and Soul Spear may not one-shot everyone. I mean, it still doesn't one-shot everyone if the player is invested heavily in Vigor. The one-shot doesn't work. But there you go. So there's variety you can have using this build. You just have to get used to playing with very low stamina and no Vigor. Not Vigor. What's the other one? Vitality. That's the one. Endurance and Vitality. Yeah, there's a decent amount of flexibility with this build. If you're alright not playing with, your favourite weapons and your ultra great swords and stuff, there's a lot you can do with the build. Which I think is quite... A lot of people overlook that, and everyone wants their cake and eat it too with regards to build crafting. And unfortunately, when you try to craft a build that can do everything, eventually it does nothing well. Or it just becomes kind of stale and boring, which is why you see so many of the same kinds of builds running around all the different soul levels, especially lower to mid soul levels. You see the same twinks running the same weapons with the same stats. And, far be it for me to tell people what they should and shouldn't be doing to have fun. To me, it's not what roleplay is about, and ultimately this is a role-playing game. And I've always been a big fan of the kind of fantasy roleplay genre, especially Dungeons and Dragons and Warhammer Fantasy back when I was a teenager. So wanting to have this super optimized build that's just kick-ass in combat and has no flaws just doesn't, it doesn't really appeal to me all that much. I can see the appeal, but it's just it's not for me, to be quite frank. So if you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of something to, have a fun and unique build, I think you'll get quite a lot out of playing this way. And again, you always have access to the Black Crystal, so if you're coming up against a real brick wall with people and you're getting your ass whooped or you're getting griefed because, they're all running super optimized dark builds, or the password summon over-level phantoms, or they've glitched it so the password summon phantoms aren't password summons, so they can be level 900 or all that stuff. You don't have to sit there and take it. You just black crystal out and you go and find another invasion. And quite frankly, that's, I think, the best way to be playing this game in this part of its life cycle. Just make your own fun. So I know there isn't a lot to say these days about Dark Souls 3 Invasions. The people that are left know pretty much everything there is to know about invasions and tips and tricks on how to win and how to have fun in the game. So just some closing thoughts about the build and the state of the game. Builds are incredibly fun. They're, you know, what they lack in survivability, they make up for massively in their damage output, and people's fear of the one shot generally keeps them at bay, so they don't all rush you at once in general. Obviously the weak point is if they do rush you, you don't really have a lot of stopping power to, you know, push back against that, because you might one shot one phantom but you can't one shot all of them at the same time. So there's that. And again, we're in the death throes of the game. But there's still surprisingly active player base. I've got to admit, I wrote this game off about a year ago as completely dead, at least for the PlayStation 4, which it kind of is. But the PC community, I've been pleasantly surprised by being alive and well. And I think at these stages, we need to be doing everything we can to try and keep the game alive. And my way of doing that is just trying things that I've not tried before. You know, I'm not saying that this hasn't been done before. Absolutely, you know, one-shot wizards have been a thing since day one, but it's not something I've personally dabbled around with. So I've been having a lot of fun with that, and you know, I may make some more videos. I may make some more builds in the future until Elden Ring comes out. You know, Miyazaki when Elden Ring now, please. I think we're all very, very excited for that, which is probably why this game is still alive, is because we got nowhere else to be. Like Sekiro came out and everyone played that for about 6 months, and then because there was no PvP, we just all went, okay, we're done now, bye. You know, come on, Miyazaki, you got to pull through for us this year. Yeah. All right, everyone, I'll leave you with these last couple of invasions. The last one in particular is my absolute favourite, and it was more dumb luck than than skill, but it's a doozy. Right, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you are having a very safe coronavirus pandemic. I know it's been a bit shit recently, and I hope you're all keeping safe, and I hope you are well. So, cheerio.